Eli Hartman knelt 3 feet from a wolf with blood matting its gray fur, and instead of running, he reached out his hand. The animal's eyes, pale amber, alert, locked onto his fingers without blinking. 13 years old, alone on his grandmother's ranch at dawn, Eli had been tracking a missing lamb when he found this instead. A young wolf caught in a snare wire, blood-crusted dark along its hind leg. Ranchers across Cedar Hollow had lost 6 sheep that spring. Everyone blamed the wolves denning past the ridge. But this one hadn't lunged at him. It watched him, muscles coiled, ears flattened, breathing hard, as if it understood exactly how much danger it was in. His grandmother always said, "Never trust a predator's stillness." Eli reached for the wire anyway. The wire bit through skin, not bone, and Eli worked it loose with shaking fingers while the wolf held rigid beneath him, lips curled just enough to show teeth. He didn't flinch. When the last loop fell away, the wolf didn't bolt. It limped 3 steps, collapsed against a fallen log, and stared at him like it was deciding something. Eli named her Sable, for the dark saddle marking across her shoulders, though he knew better than to think of a wild animal as a pet. His grandmother, Ruth, ran cattle and sheep on land that had been in the family 60 years, and she'd already called the county. Ranger Dale Pruitt was setting traps along the ridge that week, authorized to remove any wolf suspected in the livestock kills. Eli didn't tell his grandmother what he'd found. He carried water to the tree line instead, telling himself he'd decide what to do once Sable could run again. For 4 days, Eli slipped away after chores, watching Sable's strength return in small increments. A longer stride, a sharper focus in her eyes, less trembling when wind moved through the brush. What unsettled him wasn't her recovery. It was her fear. Every time a branch snapped uphill, she went rigid, nose lifted, scanning the tree line like something up there mattered more than him. Wolves didn't usually behave that way toward their own territory. Eli started comparing the kill site photos pinned to the ranch's mudroom corkboard, the ones Ranger Dale had left for Ruth. The bite spacing on the last lamb's carcass measured wider than any wolf jaw he'd researched online. The drag marks showed claw punctures, not the shearing tears of a canine kill. Sable hadn't done this. Something larger had. And whatever it was, it still patrolled the ridge above his grandmother's pasture, close enough that a wolf pup wouldn't stop watching for it. Ranger Dale set his final trap line the following Saturday. The same morning Ruth told Eli she'd authorized access to the whole northern pasture, including the tree line where Sable was healing. Eli's stomach dropped. He had maybe 6 hours before Dale's crew reached that ridge. He tried showing his grandmother the claw mark photos, the measurements he'd written in his notebook, the theory that a mountain lion, not a wolf, had been killing the sheep. Ruth listened, but trap budgets were already spent, and a teenager's notebook wasn't evidence the county would accept. Eli faced an impossible choice. Lead Dale's crew toward Sable's hiding spot and likely get her trapped or shot on sight, or stay silent and risk a cougar attacking again while everyone hunted the wrong predator. He chose silence, grabbed a rope and a flashlight, and headed for the ridge alone, hoping to find proof before anyone else found Sable first. Eli found paw prints first, wide, retractable clawed, pressed deep into mud near the spring where Sable usually drank. He was crouched photographing them when a low growl rolled out of the brush behind him, nothing like Sable's earlier warnings. The cougar emerged low and fast, ears pinned flat against its skull, and Eli froze the way every survival guide warns against. Sable hit the cougar's flank from the side before it closed the distance, smaller and lighter but moving with everything she had, driving it back toward the rocks instead of toward Eli. Ranger Dale's truck crested the ridge seconds later, drawn by the radio call Ruth had sent once she realized Eli was missing. Dale watched the cougar retreat through the timber and watched Sable stand bleeding again, this time positioned between the boy and the tree line, not behind him, not running. It wasn't predator behavior. It was something closer to guarding. Dale's report that week credited the cougar for every sheep kill since March, supported by the claw measurements Eli had documented and the tracks photographed at the spring. Sable wasn't trapped or relocated. State wildlife officials fitted her with a tracking collar instead, allowing her to remain in the territory she'd already claimed, with Eli permitted supervised visits as part of a county monitoring program. Ruth never apologized in so many words, but she started leaving water near the tree line herself, and she hung Eli's notebook page on the mudroom corkboard beside Dale's old kill site photos. Eli understood something that spring he hadn't fully grasped before. The animals everyone feared weren't always the ones causing harm, and the truth usually asked for patience instead of a trap. Sable still kept her distance most days, wild and unclaimed the way she should be. But some mornings, from the ridge, she watched the ranch a little longer than she needed to,